Good morning. Welcome to John's Jeep Garage. Today I'm working on a 1998 Jeep Wrangler TJ. Symptoms: airbag light came on, the horn stopped working. In fact, the horn actually continuously blasted and then failed. So just for troubleshooting, I checked the relay, checked the fuses, and did some research and realized clock spring. So if you have cruise control, airbag, and horn, usually that's a symptom it's a clock spring. So I purchased a clock spring for the TJ. If you go and you look, you're going to see it a little over $200. I bought this from partsgeek.com. Got it for $150. This is a Dorman clock spring. So most of the work in the clock spring is going to be underneath the steering wheel. Why is the hood open? Because the first thing you do when you're dealing with the airbag and something electrical is you remove the battery terminal. So I'm just going to remove the negative, and then I'm also going to remove the two fuses just to ensure everything is safe. Okay? So hopefully you learned something. Thank you. Okay, so the clock spring is located behind the steering wheel. So the first thing we need to do is remove the airbag. I've already disconnected the battery. I've also pulled the fuses out behind the glove box. There are two 8mm bolts that are behind the steering wheel that I'm going to remove and pull this unit out. Okay? Okay, so this is a 1998 TJ 4-liter. It has cruise control as well. So the bolts are removed. I'm taking out the airbag. So as I remove the airbag, I'm actually going to disconnect two wires from here and this one as well. So the airbag's been disconnected. The horn's been disconnected, and the cruise control has been disconnected. All right, so to get the steering wheel off, you have the steering wheel nut. It's 21mm. You could try a ratchet and extension, but it's on tight. You're gonna have to hold the steering wheel to do it. Or if you have a impact wrench, and again, you'll need an extension when you're doing the ratchet, just from a space standpoint, but this is so much easier for me. So here's the nut, that easy. And you're gonna have to, because this is on there, you're gonna have to use a puller to pull the steering wheel off. There's two holes here. This one actually just is holding the clip that was holding the cruise control wire, but you pull this out, and then I'll show you how to use the puller to remove the steering wheel. Okay, so I have the steering wheel remover set that I'm going to use. Run down to Harbor Freight, you grab these sets, use them for a job, you keep them because you never know. So they come with a lot of bolts. Just need to see which bolt fits. Not this one. So it's this one. Basically, you'll see how to set up. You just got to make sure in this set that gives you a variety of different bolts from a variety of different steering wheels, and you're going to need to find the right one for this. And then we'll go on fast forward and show you how to set this up. So again, the centering bolt in the middle, these two which attach to the bracket for the steering wheel, which holds the pressure. As the centering bolt is screwed in, it starts pulling it out, and then it's removed pretty quickly. I'm just going to use a crescent wrench. So you hear that little snap, just broke loose. So now cables come through. You now have your steering wheel. I can remove this. Here's the clock spring. And you got this little plastic cover. There's two holes right here and right here. You're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver, loosen it up, pull it apart, so it's easy to remove the clock spring. And then put the new one back in, and then we'll connect it. So let's watch how I do this. So there's actually one more, not the one directly underneath the starter or the key lock. The one that's on the neck, a little bit to the right side. There's only one more hole, but it's on the neck, and you need to remove that one. Depending on if you're tilting your wheel and the screwdriver, it's hard to get to that angle. Most of the time it appears you can. I went ahead and took out these two screws on this panel. Very simple. Might seem like an extra step. I'm just dropping it a little bit so I can get a good enough angle on this bottom screw. And then I'm able to remove. Actually, I don't need to do that one, just need to do this one. So now I need to remove this clock spring. So this is the current clock spring. Looking at the position, it's sitting like this. On the Dorman, it actually has this little T plastic piece that I'll pull out once it's in there, because this just stops it from rotating and kind of holds it in position right now, as you can kind of see from this angle. And looks like it has two clips on this Dorman. You're going to snap like this, so I just need to push these clips in or push these clips out to release them, and we should be good to go. Behind the clock spring and the black clip that I'm going to just pull back to pull out, there's one on top as well. If you snap them, it's okay, because this is the old one. Now this, you currently see, this has a plug-in unit. So behind here, there's a clip or electrical plug that I need to remove, which goes to your dashboard panel and the power. I'm going to take a close-up picture of this for you. Both of them, this is the old one, both of them had these just little tabs on the side. You just got to pull up to release, very easy. So this is the old clock spring, and this is the new clock spring. So one thing that's important, if you own your vehicle and you care about your vehicle, don't just rush and do one job. You get here, you're changing your clock spring, and you want to be done with it. Well, you've done a lot of work to get to this point. So inspect areas since you're already here, in case there's some other things that you can do. Inspect for something that doesn't look right, if there's metal shavings, if there's a lot of grease buildup. And I know we're talking steering wheel. For me, mainly cleaning up. I see some parts have some rust. Put a little WD-40 on there. Clean the connectors with some electrical cleaner. Just look and inspect while you've gotten to a point in any project. And you know, maybe you can take care of a problem that you wouldn't know about, especially if you've gone this far. Okay, let's put this thing back on. So you got your connector. Let's the tabs on this side. Make sure I put it back in the right way. There, click, and reconnect this one. So that's in there. I have these two slots and these two black tabs. This isn't moving because I have this Dorman temporary holder in there. I probably should have, there. I'm gonna maneuver this thing on the holes. So this is connected in. This little temporary thing stops this from spinning. I'm going to wait till I put all the panels and the underside back on before I actually remove this, and only just before I put the steering wheel back on. Now that I'm putting the steering wheel back on, I got to get these wires through this little chase hole right here. The next thing is I'm going to pull this out so it's not going to move. Pull this black thing out. Now this thing can move freely, and I'm going to put this through the steering wheel. The other thing I'm going to do is, if you notice, the splines on the steering wheel, I did a close-up picture. There's a master spline above and below, and then you got to line it up with the grooves in the steering wheel so that it's centered back in its right position. Okay, so let me just go ahead and do that. This is a 1998 TJ, so this is a tilt steering column on this particular model. The nut itself on a tilt steering column for the steering wheel nut needs to be at 40 foot-pounds. So I'm going to put the nut on, I'm going to use the impact driver to get it started, and then I'm going to get the torque wrench and confirm the foot-pounds. Okay, I got my torque wrench set up for 40. It's there, so obviously this over tightened it, but I'm good. Steering wheel, leaving that alone. Now I'm going to connect everything. Okay, so green to green, cruise control. Make sure that there's a little slot it goes into. That's connected. And then I'm just going to let it slide into this mounting bar. Actually, a smart thing to do. You know what I'm going to do? I'll pull it out and then slide it on. And then slide it on. And then put it in the steering wheel. Now remember, I have that plastic sleeve I pulled down. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that. The horn is connected and the sleeve back on. And now just the airbag itself snapped in. Get my cruise control set up. Then I just have to put my two 8mm bolts in the back, test it, and we're done. Now I need to connect the battery, actually the negative terminal back. Good news is the airbag light has gone off. Looks like my daughter needs gas. And the horn is working. Okay, that's a wrap. Clock spring is in the 1998 TJ, and hopefully this video was useful. If it was, please like. Remember, if it has anything to do with a combination of steering wheel components like your airbag, horn, cruise control, or any other type of functions and it's not just one but multiple ones, it's probably going to point to the clock spring. I'll always do your basic troubleshooting, your relays, your fuses, ground wires, of course. But again, pay attention to this if you see that type of symptom, multiple components failing. And if this really helped, we'd love for you to like it and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for visiting. John's Jeep Garage.